Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Please pop in the chat. Where are you joining us from? Would love to know who's with us today. Thank you. Oh my goodness, so great to be with you, Shalando.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited. We had our conversation not too long ago about leadership, femininity, masculinity, and this conversation is going to empower so many people. So I cannot wait to hear what you share, and I'm excited for everybody who will have an opportunity to gain value and insight from your knowledge. So thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. So what's in store for us today?
Oh, thank you so much. And I'm really interested in how to support women continue to express their feminine grace and their leadership. I thought, wow, what a really powerful conversation to continue to have with women. And I thought, what better place to do so than on an Instagram Live with you, right? Another powerful female, fierce feminine leader who exemplifies true feminine grace and leadership. I love it.
Thank you so much. So
Yes.
today you've got a couple of things in store for us. Let's start with the leadership, masculine versus feminine
Yes.
conversation.
Well, yes. Well, first of all, I would love everyone just to take a moment. When you think of leadership, do you think of it as masculine or as feminine? Pop a 1 in the chat if when you hear leadership, that you think of leadership as masculine, or pop a 2 in the chat if you think of leadership as feminine. And I look forward to seeing how this lands for people. And just so everyone knows who's here with us, my name is Marlu, and I am a mindset coach and a conscious beauty expert. And I work with professional women, professional and mature women, who to unleash their unique expression of beauty so that they can so that they can age gracefully, positively, they can defy ageism, and so that they can really thrive in all areas of life with dignity and elegance. And my work, just if you haven't met me before, my work has been in major magazines and on fashion and beauty campaigns and on, gratefully, some pretty famous faces. And I really am passionately committed to empowering inner beauty and outer beauty, both as a coach, as a mindset coach, as well as a conscious beauty expert, because I really believe that women, we've been conditioned to think that our self-worth, our worthiness, who we are in the world, has been directly impacted and is directly related to other people's opinion of us. And I really am out to shift this idea of a beauty standard, because women, especially, and everyone, but women really, we deserve to love the woman that we see in the mirror. And going back to the question that I asked, when you think of leadership, hello everyone, thank you for joining us. When you think of leadership, do you think of leadership as masculine, or do you think of leadership as feminine? And it really was a way to distinguish how we have been conditioned in American culture, especially, to believe that leadership is equated with masculinity. And as long as we continue that way of thinking, we really are doing a great disservice to women, don't you think? Pop a yes in the chat if you can see that maybe there's a way in which you've been conditioned to think of leadership as masculine. But what I'm inviting you to all consider is that when we can cultivate feminine grace and authentic confidence together with professional leadership, it really is a powerful trifecta for professional women, especially if they find themselves in more male-dominated environments. Because doing so, it really does allow the women to navigate challenges, express themselves, as well as make a positive impact. Because confidence, when it's authentically cultivated from a practice of self-awareness and self-acceptance, it really does empower individuals to stay true to themselves, to maintain their integrity, and also to overcome self-doubt. So that's really why I really love this idea of cultivating feminine grace and your own authentic confidence inside of who you are as a leader. Because when you do so, it really does portray a strong presence. You allow yourself, you command respect, and also you really get to contribute effectively to your organization and to your environments.
I see there are comments coming through where people indicated they think of both feminine and masculinity when it comes to the word leadership.
Yeah.
So will you tell us more about how we can embrace our feminine grace?
Yes. How we can embrace our feminine grace is, well, first let's distinguish what is feminine grace, right? Feminine grace, when you're able to cultivate it, you really do bring a unique set of qualities and strengths to the table. Feminine grace encompasses things like empathy and intuition, collaboration, and nurturing skills. And when you get to embrace and express this feminine grace, individuals can really foster inclusive work environments. It can also build strong relationships and also really cultivate a sense of belonging. And isn't it when you really feel like you belong part of something, you're more readily available to contribute and to do good work, which may even sound like work harder to contribute and make something more successful? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally. And when you get to really do, and when you get to encompass and cultivate all of this, it allows for integration, for diverse perspectives. It also encourages open communication, and it leads to more innovative solutions and a cohesive teamwork. Because when you're able to allow people to confidently express themselves without having to worry about whether they're right or whether they're showing up in a certain way, and just allow themselves to have their voice be heard, who knows what can show up? We have such a wide variety of experiences that we can share and contribute in so many different ways.
That is mind blowing and insightful because, yes, when you feel like you belong, you're more willing to contribute and
Absolutely.
add to the cause. So, will you tell me? We talked a little bit about the FG and AC study findings. Will you tell me more
Yes.
about those FG and AC study findings? What are they and how can they relate to us?
Yes. So there was actually a study, I'm going to pull up because there was a great quote that I wanted to share with you, is that there was a study by Judge and Hurst, and it was on the role of self-confidence in leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed a quantifiable relationship between self-confidence and leadership. I'm just reading this right now. To be effective, they showed a quantifiable relationship between self-confidence and leadership effectiveness. And it really highlights that when we as women are self-confident, we are more able to assert authority, influence others, and make impactful decisions, especially in an environment where we may experience some gender biases.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was really distinct on, so it's like really exciting to cultivate this area of feminine confidence and grace.
Yes. Important that we can be the woman
Yes.
that we were created to be. Each of us was created to
Yeah.
be and comfortable being the woman we were created to be in a workplace environment and in leadership roles.
Yes.
That,
Without having to worry about any concerns of having to show up a certain way in order to excel. In order to excel,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Yes.
So with that said, what are some strategies that we can build this confidence to feel like we can excel and be who we are in order to excel?
Yes. Well, there are three easy and practical strategies that you can take on right now. Okay, maybe I'm going to take back the easy part because it does take practice and it does take a commitment. But there are three strategies that I'd love to share. The very first one to build inner confidence and to embrace strengths, personal strengths, is practicing and cultivating self-reflection and self-awareness. When you can really start to cultivate a practice of self-reflection and self-awareness, it really does ground us and we really get to know our own values. What are we passionate about? What are our areas of expertise that we can continue to hone and cultivate so that we are more readily available to share them in the world? And having this practice helps people recognize their unique strengths and also their gaps and where they can actually do some work to get better, to grow stronger, to be able to contribute more in the way in which they desire. And some ways in which they can practice this is by journaling. Super simple. Start a gratitude practice every evening. Start there, but make it daily and make it consistent and really create it as a practice. Another great practice is to find trusted mentors and trusted colleagues, those that you can really listen to contribute and give you feedback that is really impactful, that will have you grow. And someone who can also share with you what are the gaps that they see that you can also cultivate and make stronger. So that's number one. The second practical strategy is celebrating your achievements. As women, we really have been hardwired to tamp down, to celebrate quietly, if at all, our own achievements and successes, whether they're big or whether they're small. So allowing ourselves to shift that way of thinking and to encourage ourselves and others to celebrate and share accomplishments and successes really does make a difference. And it will take us getting out of our own way to do that, right? But when you can also encourage others to celebrate their successes, it makes a difference. And then reflecting on any of our past successes continues to reinforce our own self-belief, as well as motivates us to tackle new challenges. And the third strategy is to learn how to embrace failures as growth. That's a big one. I think that's probably one of the biggest ones that I love to practice that has really made such an impactful difference in my life. Because when we actively do the work to shift the perspective of and the perception of failure as something wrong and bad and we're not good enough and anything like that, to something that can really teach us and that we can learn and grow from, it creates another world of opportunity. Right, Shalando? Have you experienced that too?
Absolutely. There's a saying by a gentleman, Jay Samit. I don't know if he was the first person to say it, but he was the first person I heard say it. And I've been saying it to myself ever since I've heard him say it. And it goes like this: I don't lose. Either I earn or I learn. So in those
Ooh,
situations where I feel like, oh, this didn't go the way I expected it to go, I have
right?
to say to myself, I did not lose. I learned. And
Yes,
in those situations where it went like I wanted it to go, and I'm on top of the roof and I'm celebrating, I'm shouting Jubilee, I think about J7 again. I earned. So
right?
that particular saying has helped me to embrace what you're saying.
Yes.
About whether
I
or
think
not
that's a great phrase.
yes, it's not about whether or not I failed. It's about whether or not I learned.
Yes.
And it's a
Yes, which is really perfect because the question that I ask myself too, and I invite others, I love that quote, but also when you can take space, you're not so energetically hooked by the things that you didn't really get to accomplish, and you have a moment to let it breathe and you can really look at it more with an open mind. Ask yourself, what am I meant to learn here? I think it's a powerful statement to really allow yourself to discover and speculate, what am I meant to learn here? And that really is a powerful opportunity to transform any failures, unfulfillment that you may have experienced into an opportunity for growth.
absolutely. That was empowering. So I'm curious, for the people who have joined our conversation, what are some of your self-reflection practices? Marlu talked about journaling, gratitude. What was another one you mentioned?
Journaling, gratitude, also working with mentors
Yes.
and yes, and trusted colleagues. I I surround myself with a powerful community of people. I call them my power listeners or my committed listeners. And what they're committed to is they're committed to my highest growth. And same for them. I'm their committed listener and I'm committed to their highest growth. So when we can really listen and share with each other about, wow, this is what you do. That was really fantastic. Do more of this. And also, I see that there's this area that you can work on that can really make a difference in creating your community powerfully.
Yes. So that's a perfect segue. While we're inviting people who are joining our conversation to drop in the comments what their preferred method of self-reflection and awareness is it journaling, gratitude practice, and as you mentioned, community.
Yes.
Community is essential. And there's got to be a person in the community who is like a mentor or a coach for us. Will you talk to us about why it's important to work with a coach?
Yeah, I think what really is impactful, I've been working with a coach for almost 20 years now, and sometimes they've changed and around, like depending on what it is that I'm working on. But working with a coach, I think the biggest thing is that when you do so, you have someone who is dedicated to you. Someone who's dedicated to you, what you want to accomplish, the goals that you want to achieve, the gaps that you see, someone who can powerfully work with you to lessen those gaps, but also do so with the intention for you to fulfill on everything that's important to you. And when you're really ready to unlock your full potential and begin this transformational journey, having a guide who will share with you proven methods and practices really create a bespoke, a customized experience for you so that you're always on the track that you said that you wanted to be on versus taking you down something where like, oh, let's try this, let's try that, but trying to figure it out on your own, but that you get a dedicated path with someone who's your partner and your guide to support you along the way.
That's amazing. So how can we work with you?
How you can work with me is send me a direct message. I offer a 30-minute complimentary radiant beauty session where bring me an issue that you're dealing with. I know I call it radiant beauty and sometimes that sounds as feminine, but what is your own unique expression of beauty? That's really what I'm out to cultivate and share. But what is it that you're dealing with right now? What's your biggest issue? And I'll give you a mini practice or a plan to get you going so you can start seeing some results. And if it's a fit to do more work together, I'm happy to see what that looks like. And if not, it's okay. We'll still be friends.
So there's a link in your bio where we can schedule the
Yes,
call.
there's
Okay.
a link. Yep, link in my bio. You can book a session there, and it's totally easy to get
All
a hold of me.
right. So go ahead. It's time for us to take our rightful place in society as leaders who
Yep.
embrace our femininity. Go to the link. Schedule the call with Marlu. It's the only investment is your time and the opportunity to learn more about how you can become even more empowered in your
Yes.
natural existence, who you were created to be all along. Marlo,
Yes.
this has been a dynamic conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your
Thank
knowledge
you.
with us and for helping us to understand that femininity has its place in leadership. Not
Yes.
only does it has its place, it has a valuable,
Absolutely.
impactful, and transformational
Yes.
place in leadership. It's an essential component of leadership. Thank you for sharing with us how we can actually begin to embrace feminine grace, what feminine grace is, and some simple, they're simple, but not necessarily easy to implement
Yes.
because it takes commitment
It
and
does.
consistency to implement them, but they are simple techniques
Yes.
for.
And anyone can do this, really. Anyone is capable. Everyone is a leader. And it just takes a moment to practice and cultivate that. And the more that we do it, the more comfortable we get to be, the more comfortable we are in our own skin, the more confident we get to be. And when we're more confident, the more courageous we are. So it just continues to build and grow from there.
Yes, yes. I'm excited. Thank you very
Me
much
too.
for sharing all of this with us. Remember to go and click the link in Marlu's bio. At the very least, follow her Instagram account if you are not already. But
Thank you.
do yourself a favor. I've worked with Marlu before and I've gotten results. Huge results.
I know. I love the results that you get.
So do yourself a favor. Treat yourself. This is the first step to building your self-awareness and confidence as with your femininity. Book a
Yes.
call with Marlu. Click the link in her bio.
Thank
Any
you
final
so
thoughts,
much.
Marlu?
Really, so when you think of your own leadership, what is it that you want to bring to the table? And that love the person. Really, the first place it starts to love the person who is showing up as a leader and do whatever you can to cultivate and empower that person because everyone deserves to be a leader and everyone really is. And I love it.
All right. Love the leader in you. Well,
Yes.
it's been my pleasure to be a part of this conversation. Thank you for
Thank
inviting me.
you, Shalando. Yes, thank you for having us with me. It's so much fun.
All right. And the last thing I'd like to share with each of you, this is my tip for everybody that I leave at the end of every single live conversation that I have. Do something today to help make your greatest ambition your greatest accomplishment.
Amen. Woo, I love that. Thanks, everyone.
Take care.